are selling your house, you're probably also beginning to think about the packing process and taking things from your current house to your new one. However, there are things that you cannot take with you from your current home to your new home. And taking these items can be a deal breaker, can give you a lawsuit to deal with, and can stop the sale. So what are the things that you cannot take from your current home to your new home? That's what we're talking about today, and we're starting right now. I'm Sherri Green with Coldwell Banker. Welcome to my YouTube channel that guides home sellers and home buyers in Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia. So as you go to sell your house, remember that there are several things you can't take with you. Now, obviously, everything is negotiable in a contract, but these are the things that typically stay with the house and do not travel with you to your new home. The first thing is the greenery in the yard. You cannot dig up your plants and dig up your trees and take them with you to your new location. There's a good chance your mover isn't going to want to move those anyway, but the greenery, the landscaping stays with the house. So leave it alone. All of the greenery, I know you spent a lot of work doing it, but it has to stay with the house. It's part of what the buyer has purchased, is the way the house looks and functions, and the landscaping is a definite part of that. Going along with the plants and the shrubs, anything that is anchored to the ground typically stays with the house. That could be the barbecue grill in the outside kitchen. That could be the basketball goal. That could be the shed. Anything that is anchored to the ground typically stays with the home. Number 3, lighting fixtures. Again, they are attached to the house and part of what the buyer is purchasing. If you have an antique chandelier, something that you got from Italy or your grandmother, and it absolutely has to go with you, you need to make that very clear in the listing documents and the disclosures that you provide to every single buyer. And an even better rule of thumb is to go ahead and take it down and pack it up and put one up as a replacement. So anything anchored to the wall, like lighting fixtures, needs to stay with the house. Speaking of things being attached, let's talk about window treatments. That's number 4. Whether they are shutters or blinds or curtain rods, those items are attached to the window or they are attached to the wall. They are part of the home and they stay with the house unless it is negotiated otherwise. Another thing that is common to leave in the house in the District of Columbia are the appliances. Now, in some jurisdictions, people haul around their washers and dryers and they take their refrigerator with them when they go. But in DC, that is not what we do. We often have apartments and smaller condos and smaller row homes, and it would just not work to be taking appliances in and out of all these places because they probably wouldn't fit in your new home either. Again, those items convey with the home. All of these things are obviously negotiable as you go to list your house for sale and as you negotiate with the buyer to purchase your house. If you want to take that chandelier with you, then just make sure you are very detailed in explaining that in the listing and explaining that in your buyer disclosures. Make sure that everybody understands. Each side of the transaction knows exactly what will stay and exactly what will go. The last thing you want is a hiccup at the end of the sale on closing day when the buyer realizes the chandelier in the dining room is missing. People have walked away from the purchase of a house for very small things, like a chandelier being missing. Don't let that happen to you. Make sure you write down anything that you want to keep that is attached to the wall or attached to the yard. You do not want a hiccup at the closing table, and you certainly do not want a lawsuit afterwards if you have removed something that should have transferred with your sale. I have an entire channel dedicated to the buying and selling process, so make sure you watch this one next. I think you'll find it helpful to your process as well.